So welcome. This is my first unboxing. So give you a backstory. I sent out 20 comics roughly April 20th, April 13th, around that time frame, and sent it out there. I had the membership, so I was able to get that $150 off. And what?
What's your name?
Oh, that's literally my name on the what's the name?
Where?
On my YouTube channel. It literally said just Moses Fields.
You should still introduce yourself.
Okay, this is Moses Fields. My wife told me to introduce myself. So I sent it off, and it was for pressing and also grading. I didn't know how to press. Didn't know anything about pressing. It just seen a couple YouTube videos, and they said, hey, if you're gonna send it out, just make sure you get it pressed. So I sent it out to get pressed. Didn't realize that it was gonna take this long to get it back. So they finally opened it from April. They opened it in June for the first time. So it now just registered at CGC as they received and opened the box in June. So April and June, this is 2021. Then from there, it didn't even get to pressing until November. What? So it went press in November, and then it finished out, I want to say in January, February sometime. And now they finally graded out. They shipped it out. It took about 7 days from when they notified that it got shipped out for it to come to my house. I had to sign it and everything. So this has been a long process. And at this point, grades don't even matter. I'm just happy to have the comics back. So to begin with, so I started collecting comics back in 2016. I collected when I was a kid, but I was a kid, so I just tore up comics and toys and things like that. So I really didn't start getting serious and actually treated as a work of art rather than a work of art, other than just using it as a reading materials and cutting pictures out and, you know, making things out of that. So I didn't treat comics great. Shame on me, right? I was a kid. It started when I was on my deployment back in 2014, and a couple guys, Devin and Kutach, and I want to say Quarter Two, had some trade back issues, and I was bored. We couldn't go to sleep or anything else like that, so we was up. So we had some dead time, so I was able to pick up one of the trade backs, and the trade backs was Darkest Knight, Brightest Day. So I was able to read Darkest Knight, and I absolutely loved it. So it's one of my favorite ones right now because it brought me back into the whole comic books. I was a huge fan of comics related materials as far as the animated shows, the movies, of course. I was a huge Superman fan. So I knew everything on that side. I knew kind of what was going on in comics just from word of mouth, didn't read it or anything else like that. So I was very well versed on this side of it rather than the comic side of things. So it gave me the opportunity to broaden my horizons a little bit and actually get into some of the better storylines that you never seen on TV or in the animated series or things like that. Or even then, you're able to see in the animated series, they were able to adapt from some comic book stories that I never heard of before. So it even made it better. So I started doing that, you know, when me and my wife bought our first house. That's when I was able to have a man cave. So I had my man cave, and it was a comic book theme. So therefore, if I didn't have a comic book for it, I couldn't collect it. So that was my rule. So I advise you, if you ever have a man cave or anything like that, create a rule and stay with the rule, because it can get crazy. So the first thing I started collecting was Funko Pops. And I was real big into that. I think in my peak, I think I had over 250 Funko Pops starting back in 2016. And then I went from the Funko Pops to the Diamond Selects and things like that, just upgraded to the $50 statues. And now I'm starting to collect the comics. And at that point, since I was a Superman fan, I wanted to collect all the iterations of all the first Black Superman. And then in conjunction, what I wanted to do was collect all the Superman and Flash races. So every race they had. So I started that rule and didn't realize how many races that Superman and Flash had. So that's part of what's actually in here, some of the things, and a lot of the Superman key moments and things like that. So those are some of those in there, and then some of the personal. A lot of them were personal because they probably don't hold very much value, if anything. Probably just get my money back for what I graded the books for. But it's personal because it has some sentimental reasons for it. So I'm not really hard pressed about the grade because most of these I'm not going to resell, if ever. Just one of those things is going to constantly be in my collection. So let's get started. It's about 20 books. And one thing I did not enjoy as much on YouTube videos when they do the unboxings, it just seemed like it had no backstory. It was just grading it to resell, which is perfectly fine, but I kind of like to know some of the history about why these comics, why they chose these comics. Are these comics mean anything to them, or if it just, you know, a different form of money in a sense? And these are not necessarily a form of money. I think I have a reason for most of these, why I got them graded, obviously for my first submission. And then the next time I go, I would trickle some that I would resell that I have no sentimental value for and wouldn't mind letting go for whatever the fair market value is. So let's start off with, this is Power Ranger number 4. This is the first appearance of the White Ranger. White Ranger is my favorite Power Ranger, with Tommy, Jason, David, Frank. Jason, David, Frank, who plays Tommy, sorry. It's my favorite Power Ranger. So the green and white are my go-tos. That's what I grew up on. And this one is a 9.2. So it's the first appearance of the White Ranger. It's not gonna say it on here and whatever, that's cool. But I know what it is. Next, I have my wife tape all these. This is one that flashes. So this is Flash number 53. This is Superman appearance. This is one of the races that they did. And this one I got a 9.4. Okay, cool. That'll work. It was clean. Like I said, all these got press. So this is probably the best I'm going to do, other than there is a spine tick on there that should have gotten out. And it's not even color breaking. So I'm not for sure how well. And that's the other thing. So if you send it off to get pressed, right? And they received it to press it in November, but then they didn't get it graded until 3-4 months later. A lot of these things can actually come back if it's not pressed right. So it's like, why even press it if it's going to take them 180 days just to grade it and send it back to you? So yeah, it is what it is at this point. Happy to get it back. Next, I have, oh shoot, all right, right on. So this is the DC versus Marvel. So I'm a huge Marvel and DC fan. This is the first issue of the big crossover they did back in '96. So when Superman and Captain America somehow merged, and it was Superman with the Captain America shield or something crazy like that. Happened, and then the fans got to vote on who the winners of these contests was, which is really cool. So I got a 9.2. Okay, well, it's in the 9, so I'm good with that. White pages, looks good. I do see a tick. So when I originally sent these out, I had no idea about anything about grading. I just seen a book that looks clean, wasn't roughed up or anything else like that. But now I'm starting to see these different variations of what could bring a comic score down, like the ticks, the spine rolls, things like this. And this is actually crazy. You can see CGC decided to not to use the flap on the front. It didn't roll. You know how it's normally up here in the top? For some reason, they didn't case it right. So looks like I'm going to have to send this one back. Yeah, but clean as Wonder Woman, Storm, things like that. So really like that cover. I like the opportunity to do crossovers. That was another thing I started to do, is a lot of the crossovers. The next one is Sin City. So Sin City at Dime to Kill For. So I seen this one at one of my comic book stores, and I think I got it for maybe about 20 bucks. I love the movie that came out. Haven't really read much into the comics, but I thought it was a great cover. It was a great opportunity to even resell because don't have any sentimental values to it. But I thought it was a cool cover, and I got a oh, okay, cool. Didn't expect that one, but it looks good. I don't know why it got a 9.8 compared to the other ones. There's a little color breaking here at the bottom, but maybe it was a manufacturer defect. But I would take that in a heartbeat. So anybody that's a Sin City fan. Next, we have Detective Comics 1000. Oh, it's a green label because I had one of the, see, this is another thing I didn't realize. So I didn't realize then that if you send this to CGC, if they didn't have a authenticator there, they will not authenticate your signature, which is fine. YOLO is what it is, but it's signed by the cover artist, Jim. On here, got it at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City, Missouri, back in 2019, 18, something like that. Yeah, something like that. And I had this one signed. Had to be 19 because that's the year that the comic came out. So I had him sign this one. I like this one because it's the pinnacle of the Detective Comics run, 1000. I know there's plenty out there, but I wanted 1000. I had the Superman Action Comics 1000 also, so I figured, at least let me get those two 1000. And I think who's next? Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, one of them two are next as far as hitting that milestone. Anyway, so I got a, oh, nice, 9.8. Huh. And this is actually the comic that I bought from the artist because, he had the comics there and I had it at home, but I wasn't for sure if I wanted to bring it. So when I got it, it was already in rough condition, I thought. I was like, it is what it is. He's here, so I get that signed, but nice, a 9.8. Green label. So at least I can say I got a green label. Maybe I can send it to, what is it? EGC or EGS or CBCS and have them do it, and they can actually do a signature verification, and I can just get a gold label or a yellow label if I wanted to. But next is The Batman Who Laughs. I thought it was going to be a good book to have, especially since when he came out, he was a huge character, and I think that he will be around for a long time. So this is one of those things that, I could pass on to my kids, at least my kids, if they share the interest. If they don't, they don't. But it'd be a good comic to have. This is just a regular number 1 for Batman Who Laughs, and I got a 9.8. Actually surprised. Yeah. So far, so good. I mean, I'm happy with the grades, but when it's all said and done, I'm just glad I had the art, especially since I have a couple of Batman Who Laughs statues. This can actually, go right along with the statue. It'd be good for a display in the man cave, I think. All right, next we have Spine 3000, another pinnacle milestone, especially for Spine. Black superhero. This came out in 2019. Nothing special with it, but it's just a milestone of the 300. It means nothing once he hits like 400, 500, but it is what it is right now. So this one I got also this is my cousin's favorite comic book character is Spine, so I'm sure he'll love to see this. Shout out to Ryan. And 9.8. Still surprised, especially all the horror stories I've been hearing from CGC about their grading. So right now they're doing okay. We'll see. This one is Superman Red Sun #3. I was looking for #1, couldn't find #1 at the time, so I got 3. And this is when this is a Green Lantern and Wonder Woman appearance. This is when Superman became Russian. Another thing that I wanted to create was all the different variations of Superman. This one was the Russian Superman, and this one I got a (9.6). It's all right. I don't know where. Hey, 9.6 is good. I have no idea what the fair market value is for that. I might look it up later and post it, but like I said, it's for the personal collection. So goes my Superman Red Sun Funko Pop. This one is, oh, everybody knows this one. First appearance of Doomsday. The Man of Steel #18. First full appearance of Doomsday. And obviously this is a huge comic back in the day when everybody thought Superman was just gonna die and be dead, although he came back a couple months later. But Doomsday is still a main villain that's still gonna be around and will be around. Didn't like what they did with him on Batman vs. Superman, but you know, they get it right one day. I got a 9.2. 9.2. Nice, clean cover. It did wonders with the press. I think it was a little rough with the press, but 9.2 is not bad. All right, next is Final Crisis #4. I thought this cover was so damn cool with the dark side. Yeah, just 2 different covers. I think I have both covers, but I thought this cover was really good. I didn't have any cool dark side covers, so I thought this was a good opportunity to do that. Shout out to the DC villains also. This one I got a 9.4. It's all right. It's in a 9, so far I can see why I got 9.4. And this is just me. Oh goodness. Probably should have got less than that, but I'll take it. But this is just my first time submitting comments, not really knowing much. So definitely tell everybody to do their research, watch a couple YouTube videos on how to submit comments and what to look for, unless you really don't care about the grade. Because you don't plan on reselling, just keep it as your personal collection. Or maybe that's your original comic book that you bought back in the early 2000s or 90s or whatever it is. So to each his own. But if I would have known some of these, I probably would have been more conscious about the different comics, because you can get the comic pretty inexpensively and maybe even a 9.8. But also all depends on the grader too, because he could sneeze and see something different that the other one didn't. But you know, it is what it is. So now we have some more. Shout out to my wife for putting all the tape on the comics to help me out, so I don't see the grades. Next we have, there it is. Superman, the Action Comics #9. So if you know anything about that, then you already know this is the first appearance of Calvin Ellis. Funny story about this one. I give you this one, so let's get that and I'll tell you the story. We got that's what I'm talking about. Everything else, I'm done. As long as I get this one, I'm in a 9.8, everything, I didn't waste no money. I'm good. So good. So crazy story about this is I was on a journey to collect all the versions of the Black Superman, right? So you got Val Zod, you got Calvin Ellis, which is also drawn to resemble Barack Obama, and he's also the president of the United States for Earth 23. So I was like, yeah, let me get Val Zod and I get Calvin Ellis, and then I have all the iterations of the Black Superman. So I thought that Calvin Ellis was the first Black Superman, right? So I sent it out, boom, sent it out, and I was like, cool, I got that one, I got Val Zod, we should be good. Kind of find out there's that's the third appearance of a Black Superman. The first one was, I want to say, Animal Man 23, which is Sunshine Superman, and then the second one was Final Crisis on Infinite Earths or something like that, and that had the first Black Superman of Earth D. And that's where you had a Black Wonder Woman, you had a Asian Flash, you had, I think, a Native American Green Lantern or something like that. I don't remember. But the diversity of the Justice League there was kind of swapped out. We still had a lot of the white characters, but it had more of the Black characters, different races and things like that. Thought it was really cool. But one thing I really didn't understand is how Superman and Supergirl were married, but they were cousins in what we know. So, but the comic never actually said anything about them being cousins, just that they were in love and they kissed and things like that. And I thought that was weird. But hopefully one day they expand on Earth D. And he also, spoiler alert, he dies in that one, so we might not get it. But so now that I realized that, you know, Animal Man 23, Sunshine Superman, Earth D Superman, then you got Calvin Ellis, then you got Val Zod, and yeah, I'm sure another one pop up at anywhere. So now I completed that collection. I just haven't had it graded. So I still got to get those other three graded. But I was so happy because I got the first appearance. And I even told my best friend, Ben, that I got the first appearance of the first Black Superman. I even found a copy for him and I gave him a copy, and come to find out that, yeah, I was totally wrong about that one. But who knows? He might pop up. I thought he was a cool character. And Blackest Knight, I told you about that earlier. I was so hyped up about Blackest Knight because it brought me back into comics. This one is the Black Lantern Flash, Flash #1. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. It's just a Rebirth #1 cover homage. So I have a whole Flash collection that has a lot of the Black Lantern stuff. I think a White Lantern Flash, and I have a Funko Pop that's a Black Lantern Flash, and a White Lantern Flash. But this would go good with my Funko Pop with the Black Lantern Flash, you know, Funko Pop here, and then have display. So that's the original goal when I had it. So this was a 9.8. That's what I'm talking about. Looks good. Jeff Johns did all the Green Lanterns, and I thought this story was great, although he did not do a good job with the DCEU, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But this is why he probably got the job. Comics like this. 9.8, nice. This one is, boom. So I have a Blue Lantern Flash, right? Which is hard to get. But I have that one, so now I have the Black Lantern and the White Lantern Flash. The Blue Lantern Flash that I could put, and this is Flash #3. This is when he got the Ring of Hope. This is when everything kind of changed, and then when all the superheroes got their different power rings. This was a 9 really? I got these off of mycomicbookshop.com, so I know a lot of people hate on that one, but hey, you can get 9.8s from them. Nice. And apparently this is Death of Boomerang on Mercer, so I don't see how that's a big deal when everybody in this thing dies. Everybody dies. Then everybody comes back to life. And then they die again. crazy. Read it. So this one is, yes. So this one, I had my wife in mind when I got this one. So when we got married, I asked her to pick out some comic book heroes, and then I can just, kind of cater some of my collection to things that she may recognize or things that she might say, that's cool. She's never said that yet, but maybe she'll say with this one. So this is when Wonder Woman got the pink sapphires ring when all the superheroes and villains actually got new power-ups. So I have this one in a Funko Pop, and I was going to use that as a Funko. Now you starting to see a trend a little bit, right? So I have this one I bought for my wife, the Funko Pop, and I bought the comic. The comic was in display. We moved. She didn't put it back in her office, probably because she rolled her eyes about it. We'll see. But now that it's graded and I have the Funko Pop, maybe we can put it back in her office, or she can just give it back to me. I'll take it. And this one, I got a 9.2.
Huh, that's cool.
Oh, she finally said that's cool. She was solicited a little bit, huh? Yeah, that's weird. This got a 9.2, but this was a lot better than some of the 9.8s, but hey. This is Star Sapphire and Mirror Appearance. 9.2. This is not bad. It's still in the 9s. This is Rebirth #1. So this was a hot comic back in 2016 when DC did their whole new Rebirth from the New 52. And since then, this is like right when I started collecting comics. And since then, I got the whole Superman run, Batman run, Aquaman run. But obviously, that has not been doing so hot since they rebooted this. But, they come out of this. But to come out of this, then the whole Rebirth saga is probably just going to be a wash. And then you had Dark Knight Meadows, which I thought was confusing. And I didn't like it. But anyway, so this is the first book of the new, it's weird, this is loose. Why is it so loose? They normally supposed to be loose? Come on, CGC. Anyway, so this is a little tougher. So this is a 9.8. Okay, cool. So it's actually going to be worth. I don't even know how I got a 9.8. Should have got lower. Like this is in worse condition than the Wonder Woman is. But if I was going to get 9.8, I guess I'd take it in this. One day down the road, 50 years from now, it'll be worth $40. We'll see. Now, I'm not for sure. I think the fair market for this was actually pretty reasonable, especially for a 9.8. So if you would have got a 9.6 or anything else like that, then it would have just been a paperweight. Next, we have, yes, Final Crisis #7. It is a Superman variant. This one is, I want to say this is the appearance of the strongest Superman ever is when I believe all the Supermen merged into one or something else like that. One of the most powerful Superman ever. Then I believe this is the end of the saga. So a 9.8 or a 9.6 would be good. In this, we got a 9.2. It wasn't a 9.6 or 8 or 4. It went down to 2. Let's see why. You know what? I don't know. Well, I see it was a spine tear a little bit at the bottom, so I guess that could do it. I thought this cover was really cool. Like I said, different iterations of Superman. All the Supermen merge into one. Next, we have G.I. Joe American Hero. So, cool story about this one is that I bought my very first comic collection back in 2019, 18, something like that. And it was a guy, senior Francisco. He had a old comic book collection, and we talked about it all the time on drill weekends because he's a reservist, and I was working at the recruiting station or the active duty reserve station. And we talked about it all the time about how he had his comic books in his mom's house. He's an older guy, and that he haven't seen them in a while, and we talked back and forth. He said, "Yeah, I'll bring him in." So he brought him in one day, and I looked through him and let him know, like, what some of the values for it. Most of the books are in real bad shape. But I said, yeah, he had a couple good X-Men books, but, worth $2,000 if they were 9.8s. But, it was probably like a lower grade, like a 4 or 5 or something else like that. Probably even lower. So I told him, I said, yeah, so these are the top end books, but I'm not for sure what they're graded as now because I'm not a grader, obviously. So I have no idea what the value is, but I gave him all the tips on like what the good books, and he said, well, shoot, you want to buy them? And I was like, all right, I'll take them. And so I bought them from him at a good price. He was happy. I was happy with the price. Some of the comics I sold off to a comic book store, and I traded that in for some different comic credits or whatever, so I can get different books. But I did keep this one in homage to Senior Chief, and it's a G.I. Joe number 21. It's the first appearance of Storm Shadow, and this one is a 8.0. Okay, white pages. So this is good. I wonder if I should send it back to him. Nah. I already paid too much money for that. But it's a cool comic. Especially G.I. Joe is getting real popular again. Hopefully they make another movie that's better than the last one they came out with. But for whatever reason, they want to do a whole franchise and a whole universe for it. So if it does, then, the comic go in value, and it'd be something that, I can give it to my kids and they can get rich off of, or my grandkids get rich off of. Next, we have... Oh yeah, this is good. So this was also in that collection. It is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. So this is number 1. So obviously not the one that is worth all the money. The first appearance of the black suit Spider-Man. This is just the number 1, the first issue of Secret Wars. So nothing crazy. And we got well, there we go, the lowest score yet. 7.0. Got 7.0 on a comic book that nobody wants, but I do. It is the first one of Secret Wars, and hopefully one day they have the Secret Wars in the MCU. And then at that point, it'd be like, oh, cool, I had that. Not like, oh, cool, you want to buy it. It's just, I got it. It's not worth much, but I got it. Next. Power Rangers number 9, the first appearance of Laura Drakken. So this was cool. I loved the Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when they came back with their comic book. And Laura Drakken was like the coolest villain, especially with the merge between the green and the white. So I thought this was really cool, the first appearance of Laura Drakken. It's the one with all the Power Rangers. Due to the grid, they lost all their morphin powers, and they use the Green Ranger's coin to disperse all the energy and things like that. So that's why all of them are in green. They're all Green Rangers right now. But Laura Drakken was like the coolest. I have his Funko Pop, so it'd be good to go next to this. So yeah, this is cool. This came out in 2016, November, and we got a 9.8. I was surprised. I thought I seen a couple of nicks, and I was like, it probably won't get a 9.8, but I was good with it. But looks good. Obviously 9.8. Next, we got 2 left. I don't even remember what's in here, half of them. Punisher. This was also in Senior's book, was a Punisher. So this is actually the Jigsaw appearance. This is the big issue that everybody loved, the big series, the limited series, number 1. And we have all right, 7.0, not bad. It matches with, now you're starting to see the type of shape his collection was in. but it could be worse. I mean, it looks good with the press. Everything got pressed, so who knows what it would have been if it didn't get pressed. But yeah, it could have been a lot lower, but it looks good. I'm happy to have them. And this is the last one, and I have no idea what it is. The Doomsday? I don't know. Let's see. Last book is, right, The Great, wait a minute. Oh, I had two. So this one I got signed by the cover artist. And this one was, since my favorite superhero is Superman, and my wife obliged to Wonder Woman. So I got the first issue of Superman and Wonder Woman. So thinking that she would say, oh, that's cool. You got something that you like and I like, and we put it all together. So I went to Planet Comic-Con and I got it signed by the cover artist. But like I said, I didn't know. So it's a green label, but yeah, so that's the reason why I got this one, which actually I thought they were a great couple, better than Lois and Clark. I mean, they were OP, overpowered, but I really did like their dynamic and their love. I think that Steve Trevor and Lois Lane should have got together, and they should just stay together. Can you imagine a baby with Wonder Woman and Superman, how overpowered that baby would be? This one I got well, we finished off on a good note. We got a 9.8. Nice. So I guess I didn't do too bad. I'm glad I got all pressed. If I didn't, then, this would have been something totally different. So yeah, I'm glad I got a press. I'm glad I submitted these. Not glad that I had to wait a year for it. And there were already 2 price hikes since I got this sent out. It was so long that, how you get the $150 credit if you sign up for the second tier. I was able to use 2 of those credits. That's how long it was there. So I got the $300 back that I already paid for them. But that's cool. So this is my first submission. And, it's not bad. Not bad. Now I'm looking forward to doing more. Now that I know what that I'm looking for, I can do better next time. But I do have, my next collection is to collect all the first appearance of all the Black heroes and supervillains. So that's what I've been chasing. And it is extremely expensive once you get, a good 10 of them. After that, you get all the cheap ones out the way. And after that, you get into some big boys. Yeah, the $200 range, $400, $600, like a Jon Stewart. You can get that for about $800 now. Then you get a first appearance of Riri Williams, and you're looking between $200 to $1,000, or $200 to $800. Then not to mention the first appearance of Killmonger or anything else like that. Well, my wife's out, so yeah, drop your shoes. So when you get into the big boys, like first appearance of Black Panther, which I will probably never get, the first appearance of Storm, which I will probably never get, we're talking about $20,000 to even start off with that. So probably not going to happen, but I'm going to do the best I can. Maybe if I win the lottery, I will waste money by spending, buying a $27,000 book to put on my wall, which will be smarter just to put it in the safe and lock it away. But we'll see. So Riri Williams, some Vixen, things like that. So I already started chipping away at the list. So when I send those out and bring them back, I'm probably going to use in part CGC on the things that's going to be, higher in value, just because CGC right now, they retain their value versus the other ones. Then all the other ones I really don't care about reselling for. They're just going to stay in my house forever for life until I pass them on to my kids, grandkids. Those I'm sending to EGS, which I can do a custom label for, and it'll make the books pop. And I'm also going to be able to get it back a lot sooner too. So look forward to working with them. They get their new books, slabs, in July of 2022. So this year, a couple months. So as soon as that happens, I got about 15 books I'm going to send out to them. At the same time, I'm going to send about 10 to 12 to CGC. And I might even try CSBS. Well, and on that note, one of my kids crying, so I'm out of here. Thanks for tuning in, dropping by, seeing my collection, and hearing my story. All right, thanks. See you next time.